call the meeting to order time for the WEM regular meeting on July 27th at 6 o'clock. It's our regular board meeting, and due to the current federal and state emergency declarations, the Minnesota directive to stay at home and stay safe, and the guidance about limiting person-to-person contact during the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D-021, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. So it was in our best interest in public safety to not have a physical meeting, all convene at a physical meeting location. And persons may monitor this meeting from a remote location by clicking on a Zoom link made available on the school district calendar and website. We're reminding visitors to mute their microphones, and board members should also mute their microphones when they're not speaking. It's worked pretty well for us to raise our hands to try to address the board. I try to watch the monitor and acknowledge you if you want to make any comments about any particular items. Any visitors were directed to send comments to visitor comments at the school district email, visitor comments at wemk12.mn.us. And there were no submissions as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, to my knowledge. I did check it at 5. We will do roll call voting since it is a remote meeting. Okay, so the next item up, item 2A, is to, for attendance. We have all board members in attendance. We have Jeff Stangler, Pam Baker, Gary Michael, and Dan Houlihan remote. And we have Travis Bowman, Jay Schneider, and John Belishek participating at the school. We also have Superintendent Whitehurst, Principal Bastine, Principal Wilson, and our Activities Director, Jeff Baran, for attendance. Are there any additional agenda items? Okay, I saw a no from Joel.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second for the motion for the agenda?
Second.
Okay, that was a multitude of people. I'm going to go with Travis. So I saw Jay Schneider made the motion and Travis Bowman seconded to approve the agenda as presented on board books. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Gary?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Gary? Oh, I said you twice. I'm sorry. You can't vote twice. You only get to vote once. And Pam, yes, by roll call vote, 7 yes, motion carries. All right, moving along on the agenda, we have some additional meeting minutes, and I'm going to just put the June 22nd meeting first, because if you looked at the June 9th, as it's listed in board books, that's actually July 9th. So if you want to approve the June 22nd minutes from our regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve June 22nd?
So move.
Okay, and I'll second.
Second.
Okay. Travis Bowman made the motion and Bangor seconded to approve the June 22nd, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? I did have a question on page 5. Joel, did you actually meet with the education commissioner, or was that like a webinar kind of thing? Okay, so it was like with other superintendents and so forth. Okay, it just kind of conveys that maybe you had a private meeting with the education commissioner. It's like, wow. Okay. And that was on page 5. Any other questions? Okay, by roll call vote. Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
myself, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes, motion carries. Okay, then if we look at the special meeting marked on the board books as June 9th, but written correctly as July 9th as the attachment, that was the special meeting. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll move.
Typically, you don't move if you weren't there. So that leaves 3 of us as options.
Okay.
So move.
Okay, Travis, I'll second. So Travis made the motion and Pam Baker seconded to approve the minutes from Thursday, July 9th. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, Dan?
Abstain.
Gary?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Ray?
Abstain.
John?
Yes.
All right. So typically when you're not there, you do like to abstain from that as well. So we have, and Pam Baker, yes. So we have 5 yes, 2 abstain. Minutes are approved. Okay. All right, moving along to bills and payroll. Gary?
Second. Okay, move to approve bills and payroll. $3,018,101.51. Deposits $741,036.44. Transfers of $4,200,000.
Second.
All right. Did you catch that, Pam?
Yes. Okay, so I'm sorry. So Gary Michael made the motion to approve bills payroll in the amount of $3,018,101.51, deposits for $741,036.44, and transfers of $4.2 million. Discussion?
I didn't meet
Sorry.
with Margaret, but am I muted?
No.
Oh, okay. It says mute, but anyway, I didn't meet with Margaret, but I only have one question, so maybe I can throw it out there and Margaret could help. It has to do with check 79281 to INS Group for $52,558. Was that in the right area?
It's not. It should have come from the other bank. And so we're transferring money to between the checking accounts. So it will all sort out.
Okay.
Do you want me to go over some of the other big checks and other items?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll just list some of the checks that I had of note. Check 79256 to Minnesota PEEP, and that public employer insurance program. So that's all of our health insurance for teachers. So the Blue Cross Blue Shield wire, that's typically $100,000 to $110,000 every month for the past 12 years since I've been here, is no longer that large. It's about $16,000 or $17,000. So you'll see that Minnesota PEEP come through as a check. And so if there aren't any objections, I'm going to remove that Blue Cross Blue Shield as an individual wire amount. just because that was always the largest wire. We listed that separately. So this month would be the last month that you'll see that separately on the summary, the first page of the report. Check 79258 is a pretty large one for the building bond, the debt repayment for $300,000. 79280 is our workers' compensation annual premium, and you should see our property and casualty insurance, our auto insurance premiums come through in the next month or so here. So we already discussed that INS group check. And then I have check 79286 for Minnesota Valley Ed District, and that's special ed contracts that are even smaller than the ones that we share with Waseca. So we just have very few students that need those services, so we pay hourly through the Ed District for the services that we need for them. And 79297 for Renaissance Learning is our reading curriculum. I know it says textbooks, but they've expanded that grouping. So textbooks or any electronic equivalent goes into that same code. So that's that check. You'll just start to see a lot of things ramp up. All of the orders went out July 1st. So we're getting lots of invoices in for supplies and curriculum for the fall. And you should start to see that on there. And then in payroll, the end of June is always our summer lump sum payments for the teachers that elect to receive the payout of their contract in June. So there are a handful that receive payments in July and August, but some that receive a check the end of June. So that's why June is a little bit bigger, and then July and August payrolls are a little bit smaller. So those are the only notes that I had, unless there are other questions.
The only thing I wanted to point out was on the last page of the report, I believe it is. Yeah. I think you can kind of see some of the impacts of COVID when you look at what the budget was and what we spent this year versus other years. We're down in purchase services and supplies and materials. And I wonder if that's not related.
Some of it will be, some will be because of audit adjustments at the end of the year. So if we have some bills come in still that we pay, but you know, we have seen areas where things have been just a little different because of COVID. Some things that cost a little bit extra, some that cost a little less. And then I'm glad you pointed that out, because the other large thing on our checks tonight are small dollar amounts, but there are several refund checks going to families. So that was another thing that happened during this report.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're on mute, Pam.
Thank you. My question was about those student refunds. Was that primarily all activities, or was it a combination of activities and lunch reimbursement?
Very few of them were lunch. It was primarily spring sports fees, Clay Target, those kinds of things. And then some of the larger checks were the seniors that aren't able to go on the band and choir trip. So those were some of the bigger ones. A few people did request food service, and we did that upon request. And anyone in the community that asked will definitely, you know, if they feel like money's sitting there that they could use, we've honored that and returned money, but we've just done that when they've asked.
Okay, so any other questions? Okay, no other questions. So Gary made the motion and Jay seconded to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $3,018,101.51. Deposits for $741,036.44 and transfers of $4.2 million. By roll call vote, Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote, it's 7 yes, motion carries. Okay, moving along, visitor comments. Okay, as we discussed, there was nothing submitted for visitor comments. Okay, and then we move into recognition and approval of monetary donations. And the July donation report indicated that there was a donation from $1,099.08 from the class of 2021, and then a Legion Lake Association donation of $500 for a scholarship. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Dan. Jay Schneider made the motion and Dan Houlihan seconded to approve the July donation report. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who donated. It's pretty generous to do that, especially this where we are in the world here to get donations. It's a pretty special thing.
Okay. By roll call vote then, if there's no further discussion, we'll do roll call vote. Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote 7-0, donations have been approved. Okay, next item up on the list is a recognition of our business office for earning the Minnesota Department of Education School Finance Year for the 15th time out of 16 years. So congratulations and thank you, Margaret. Okay. Moving along to reports, it looks like the principal report is first on the list.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. Not a lot has happened in the building since the last time we were together. As far as 712 goes, we're still continuing to work on our plans for, sorry, the echo is a little distracting. So anyways, planning is continuing. We did meet with EA President, Ms. Rebecca Kelly, and teacher Anna Skidmore the week of July 15th. They shared some concerns that they have had from staffing. In moving forward with our plans, we are also creating a team approach. We'll be meeting with staff from each building site along with 3 students, high school students, and then some supervisor manager positions here in the district. So that's going to happen on August 4th. That's going to be the first of many meetings. The input that's going to happen from that group will be able to make way for what's to come for the fall, winter, and then eventually the spring here at WEM and across the state. So we will continue to review guidance and have a presentation for the team when we come in on August 4th. We also sent out 2 different surveys, one to families and one to staff. And so Bobby's going to talk about that result gathering here in a little bit. We also met with a team of teachers that attended the MTSS, which is multi-tiered systems of support for our students. And we want to really implement that into our entire district to help support our student assist teams, some RTI, that response to intervention that's going on in the school. And really it's a great flank with a PBIS. So all of that being said, we are in its infancy stage, and we sent we talked about this in the last board meeting, but we sent a hearty group of staff that are going to be able to lead the charge, and we're just biting off a little bit by a little bit because we know that it's going to take a couple of years to really fully implement, but we're excited about it, and the staff when we met are excited about it as well and energized, and so we're going to just build upon what they learned and what they explored along with what's already in place. So we're not going to recreate the reel right away, but adding little things as we go. And then I'm going to pass on to Bobby.
Pre-K through 6, we've had summer school happening. We began on July 6th. We're a hybrid model, so I have a group in on Monday and Wednesday and a group in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have about 38 students that are taking advantage of the opportunity. A few are choosing to distance alone, so they do not come to the building, but we have a teacher work with them on their distance learning. It's been well attended. The kids are excited to be here. It's gone very well, I would say. We run into the typical summer issues with vacations and things like that, but
You're muted, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby, you're muted. And your microphone was going, Bobby? Bobby? Bobby, you've been muted for the last couple minutes. You're muted. You're muted. You've been muted according to my screen. And your microphone was actually going through Joel's.
Oh, so you heard part of it.
Part of it, but then once he stepped up and muted, then you went empty. So we're talking, I think I got about as far as there was a distance learning student who was, or a hybrid student doing the distance learning nonstop, and then.
Yep, sure. We had 38 students that were registered for summer school, and then there were 6 that were actually distance learning only. And so we had a teacher working with those students. It was a cross grade level. There was I had a couple of first graders, a third grader, and then an early childhood special ed student that chose to go distance. So I had a teacher in charge of that. Again, we had the hybrid model with a group in on Mondays and Wednesdays and a group in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We were well attended. We run into some things with like vacations here and there and stuff like that, or dentist appointments out of the blue, but which is typical of a summer school. But the kids are happy to be here. It's going well. They're getting used to the social distancing piece. Today they wore masks for the first time and they did a really good job with them. So it's been good. And then I would say that, as far as K4 goes, pre-K4, the building is changing every day. Lots of things happening down on that end. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening here. I shared the survey in the agenda, or in the board agenda. Pam, are you able to put that up to share with everybody? The survey results? No, I can't hear her.
I have it. I am not considered the leader of the meeting, however, so I'm not sure I can share it unless somebody has a suggestion.
Maybe, well, yeah. How about John? Can you do that?
Anybody should be able to share their screen.
Okay, you want to try to pop it up and share it? We're going to try to get it shared here so you can see the survey results.
Yeah, try again, sorry.
Very good. Jay Wilson is sharing her screen. Everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, you're gonna have to do the buttons. Okay, so beginning with the staff survey results, we had 53 respondents. And then it's by question, so I don't feel like you want me to read all of the questions, but the first one just talks about the role, so you can kind of see how we're spread. We opened it up to everyone, so you can't see on the second screen transportation, secretarial, those kinds of things, but everyone was surveyed, all staff. So looking at what safety measures would you need in place to be most comfortable returning to school as a staff member? You can kind of see where we're at. I think overall it's been the safety, the typical safety things, the social distancing, washing, and making sure we're disinfecting, those kinds of things, avoiding large gatherings. Then looking at how confident are you that each of these options will provide a high quality education, talking about in-person, distance learning, and hybrid learning. Obviously the most confidence is in person, and then distance learning would probably be last, and then hybrid kind of unknown. Again, this is staff's respective thoughts on that subject. Level of concern about students falling behind, I think 1 being no concern and 4 being very concerned. You can kind of see where we're at as a staff. Obviously concerned about student growth if we go to a distance or hybrid learning model. Significant concerns that you might have for the year, again, starting with 1, mental and physical health of students and staff. You can kind of see where we're at. That's a high concern, 1 being low concern, 4 being high concern. So mental health of student staff is a high concern for our staff. And then students, again, falling behind is still a concern as well. Personal health or health for my family is a large concern for our staff coming back. And then, of course, lack of engagement from students and families. From spring, there was not as much buy-in in the spring, so that was tough. So that's a concerning as well. And then other. The supports that people believe that they need to be successful this year, you can kind of see how that plays out. I have to look. Some of these are hard to read, so I actually made myself a cheat sheet so that I could, for this question, number 7, but I don't know if I can get out of here. How can I get to that? Because they're hard to read. Let me just go back. So for number 7, the first one is talking about mental health supports for staff. It's hard for me to read these both now. So the first one is mental health supports for students and staff. The next one is proper training. That was a big one. Proper training for PPEs and sanitation. Staff are wanting that, of course. Training and planning time for a hybrid or distance learning scenario is also something that everyone's looking at and wanting and needing. And then best practices to keep everyone safe. You can go to the next one, I think. So then going into family results, we had some themes, some recurrent themes. We had, what was the number again? 540? No, 370, sorry, 370 responses, but some overall themes. Distance learning is not favored by most families. People would like to have their students back in the building in the safest way possible, of course. Always in the comments were things about proper safety procedures and social distancing and mask wearing and things like that. People feel more comfortable with those things in place. Some things that we heard also, like communication between teachers and families to increase that. Of course, there's concerns about students not being at school and how does that look at their house when a student's home, parents can't work, those kinds of things. Communication again, about safety protocols. People want to know what the safety procedures are that we have in place. And of course, if we're doing distance learning, theme about making sure that the plan is well prepared and frankly better than the spring. Increased teacher interaction was another common theme. People would like to hear from, in some cases, they heard from many of their teachers and some they did not. But again, that's part of fine-tuning the distance learning should we have to go to that. And then with those then, taking a look, you can kind of see the age group of the respondents, the parent response. So we got a good response, I think, across the board. So safety measures. Did you skip one? Sorry. Where you at? Oh, okay. Oh, this one talks about the number of people that feel confident coming back should MDE and MDH say it's okay to come back with proper protocols. 75% of our families feel comfortable sending their kids back. Talking about if they were to reopen in the fall, the level of confidence that school will be safe, 1 being no confidence and 4 being high confidence. We feel like there's a lot of confidence that students will be safe in school. That's what our families are telling us. Safety measures that people feel need to be in place. It goes back to the wearing of masks. You can see that 26% feel that way. The appropriate social distancing protocols in place, 50%. The biggie was the hand sanitizing and sanitation stations and things like that in place. Small groups are favored, and then again, no large assemblies, that sort of thing. And a few felt that no additional safety measures would be okay too. Okay, the type of, this next question was about the type of learning that seemed to be most important to family and staff. Should we have some kind of distance learning or online learning that might have to happen? The things that were priority for our families, as close to traditional schedule as possible, that was an important thing for them. Level of support for struggling students was very important to people. Personalized instruction and consistent feedback was also very important. And then student directed and self-paced, less teacher directed was a consideration for others, smaller percent. So the next question addressed if we're full distance learning or the hybrid model, and their child is not able to come to school, would they be taking advantage of the meal program? Thinking, do we need to provide lunches for students that aren't in the building for whatever reason? 73%, 74% of our families said that they would not need the school meal program necessarily. And you can see that 13 and 13 are yes, and they'd be willing to pick it up if need be at a designated location. We needed to ask the question about transportation to get an idea of how that would look. 60%, roughly 60% of our families would take advantage of transportation as they already have. And you can see 40% that wouldn't be a need for them necessarily. Concerns coming back, greatest parent concern, close to 50% is falling behind academically. That's a major concern for our families. And then of course, followed by health and safety of their students coming back to school. Potential issues with scheduling was a concern for some. And then there's a group that have no concerns. We asked the internet question again. I know we asked it in the spring when we went to distance learning, and many times people said, yes, we have internet, but they only had internet with their phone, and they found that to be cumbersome and difficult. So we asked the question again. And 92% of our families felt like they have reliable internet in their home. The other 7%, that was a struggle for them. So with the survey, we can identify those people and get to them what they need. Is that the last one? So that's kind of an overview of the questions and the responses we got from staff and family. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That was very informative. I appreciate it. I'm sure other board members do as well. Are there questions of either principal? All right, then we'll move along to Mr. Baran's Community Ed and Activity Report.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. On my report, again, not a whole lot as far as the activities are concerned. The 2021 activities registration site is really pretty much ready to go live. With the change of the website host, we need to do a couple of things regarding being able to pay fees and things like that using that system. And I was informed that that part should be done, so I should be able to get that up this week and running. First official date for fall activities is August 17th. The Minnesota State High School Board will be meeting August 4th. And I believe it's that day that they plan to reveal the big secret as to whether or not we'll return to play. A lot of it has to do with Thursday's decision and coming back to school and what model may be used, as well as an awful lot of other factors. Currently, there are several states that are already coming out, or conferences that are coming out saying what they're going to be doing, at least college conferences and things like that. So that gets updated almost daily. I know there's a task force that the league has put in place to research that and come up with the best plan. So there are an awful lot of models and ideas out there. So if you have any other questions or anything like that, you can ask me. I have heard quite a few different things. The parent-student eligibility registration meeting will probably look a little bit different this year. If we do go back to participating beginning August 17th, just a lot of the responsibilities, COVID responsibilities, and practice types of things I'm probably going to want to do in person for the most part this year. And therefore, I'll probably have to have several meetings so that we can, not overpopulate one of the meetings or something like that. So again, that is up in the air, but that's kind of the plan at this point in time. Again, waiting for August 4th until the reveal takes place. Community education, we've had some softball, football, and girls basketball at the high school level, softball a bit at the youth level has been participating. I haven't heard of any issues as far as the screening guidelines are concerned. We do have a volleyball camp taking place right now. It seems like everything went pretty smoothly today as far as coming with masks and trying to keep them outside during breaks and so on. So they're really not coming into the building besides the gym. We have about 4 groups, probably approximately 24 high school students lifting weights. Mr. Richards and myself are supervising those groups. And again, same thing with the protocols. They fill out their form each day and haven't seemed to have any issues with kids doing that and so on. Summer activities and camps will pretty much end this week, as a lot of the gym, I know some of the construction project people will be working in the gym next week and then trying to get the gym floor refinished and so on before the start of practices. Little Bucks Camp will be taking place August 18th through the 27th. Currently, we have 16 children registered. Staff will be taking that on here in the next, actually in the next few days with how that will look. We'll probably use the same process as has been used in the summer school. We've had 34 students complete behind the wheel this summer, with 8 more that are currently registered for later this summer, actually in process, or even later this summer. So we've had an awful lot of kids do that, or I guess I would say a typical summer for the number behind the wheel. School age care continues to serve, I guess, about 30 children, and again, with the first day of the students having to wear masks, I'll reiterate what Bobby said and say things went pretty good. That's it.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Are there any questions for Mr. Buran? All right, then, Mr. Whitehurst.
Okay, a couple items here. First one would be, when we had our last meeting, all of us were anticipating tonight would be a large discussion on what fall learning would look like. Apparently this, like everything else since this pandemic began, got kicked down the road a little further. We will not know until June 30th what the plan for opening will be.
July 30th.
I'm sorry, July 30th, wrong month. Yeah, July 30th. I lost one in there. So we'll have that. In our conference calls with the commissioner, it's been alluded to, and I'm not positive, but there seems to be some flavor that maybe it won't be a blanket wide statement. The state may be broken up into regions. So one region may be underneath one learning format, one might be underneath another. I'm not positive, but that just seems to be the guidance. You know, we have had calls, weekly calls, and we have shared our concerns with busing being an issue on some of our plans, mainly the second one, if we go hybrid, and some of the classrooms, and they're looking at some of the guidance, and MDH is studying that. So there might be a little availability there for us. Ironically, I did receive an email this morning. Julie Rosen would like to meet with the area superintendents in a Zoom meeting, either tomorrow or Wednesday. She was going to get back. So, you know, ironic or whatever, you know, days before the governor's announcement. But it's always nice to have the chance to provide input. As far as the building project is concerned, we have run into our first little glitch that they're needing to figure it out. It has to do with the sprinkler system. We have to sprinkle the entire Waterville building, and they're going to have to bring a structural engineer to take a look at how to hang the pipes in the little gym and the cafeteria. The roof system above those will not support the weight, so they're going to have to provide some additional structure in there to support the weight. Otherwise, you'll see some more things happening at the Waterville site. The Masons have been working in Morristown, getting the office and the restrooms in order there, and they were back over here today, so some of the brick structure will be going up.
Okay, any other questions for Joel?
I have a question. At the state level, you had mentioned that they might tell different regions to teach different formats. Like maybe we might be told that we're hybrid, and someone else up north might be face-to-face, and someone in a higher risk area might be online. Is there any kind of data or knowledge base feeding this? I mean, who's making those decisions?
I assume it's all coming from the Department of Public Health. You know, this was just what they kind of put out there the other day. They talked about it, may not be the same district or statewide. So that's all I have to go on, would be the same piece that you know, as much as you know right now as well. I know.
Well, is it the number of cases driving it, or how quickly people learn in different areas, or I guess I'm not following why that would make sense.
Joel, you're muted. You're still muted. Can anybody hear Joel? Unless you're in the room. Can't hear you.
Okay.
Did you hear the response?
No.
Okay.
Well, let's move ahead. I'm sure the governor will clarify everything. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Questions for Joel?
Yeah, I got a question for Joel.
Okay. Hopefully you can unmute.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
All right, life's good again. What was the question? Sorry.
Okay, you ready? Everybody ready? The question is, say we make a motion to open the schools with virus protection. a plan, and the state has different ideas. Where do we go from there, and what is the cause and the effect?
I would submit it'd be twofold. One of them, we'd have to run it through our local attorney for liability. The second one would be our insurance company to see what they would say. There has been some discussion on that. There has been push for local control. How far are they going to allow us to go? I don't know, but I know that has been a topic of conversation.
Okay, because I do know that I believe they passed a bill that you cannot get sued for virus or whatever now. I believe that is in effect now. So that might have a positive effect on being sued or whatever. So I guess we'll have to see how it plays out.
Correct.
And Joel, I think Dan had a question about where the data was coming from in regards to driving that regional decision.
Nobody knows.
Yes,
Nobody-
and I don't know where it's coming from. All I'm getting is the information that we receive on our statewide superintendent's calls.
Okay. What I was reading some literature on the Minnesota School Board Association, and some of the guidance they're putting out there seems to suggest we may have some flexibility in the planning and which model. So unless they're just keeping it very vague right now, but they didn't say it was mandated in some of the situations that they were describing. So I guess we'll all wait and listen.
How is it going to work if the model isn't something that the teachers are pretty much ready to launch right now? I mean, they're not under contract. Is there going to be time allocated for people to learn a new hybrid system or something? I don't know. I mean, we've been working on a hybrid system for some time at the university, and yet we just ran a survey and 90% of the faculty absolutely do not want to do it. And they're dead set against it. And yet that seems to be the direction we're headed. So I just don't know exactly where. I mean, how do you get up to speed with something like that when they're waiting till the last possible second to tell you? I don't know.
Now that it's all very legitimate.
Okay, and my apologies, I did skip right over the board member reports and committee reports. Did anybody want to make any comments about any committee meetings or board reports? I will just mention that we met with Margot Kulseth as a communications committee group, Jay and John and myself and Joel, and hope to present some bulleted items at the August meeting for communication. And of course, some of this is contingent upon the COVID and the learning models that go forward. So, any other board members? Okay. So then we're moving on. There's nothing under the information discussion items, it's action items. And the first item up is to approve the resolution relating to the election of school board members.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Travis Bowman made the motion and Jeff Stankler seconded to approve the resolution calling for the election of school board members. So essentially the poll will be open, or excuse me, the filing period is open from tomorrow until August 11th. Am I right on that? Am I right? And the print.
That's right.
Thank you, Gary. So it's August 11th. We have 3 positions or terms that are expiring at the end of the year. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, so by roll call vote, Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes, by roll call vote, 7 yes, motion carries, resolution passes. Okay. Next item up is to approve our 2021 resolution for membership in the Minnesota State High School League.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Dan Houlihan made the motion and Jay Schneider seconded to approve the 2021 resolution for Minnesota State High School League. Any discussion? Hope we have it. Okay. Roll call vote. Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes. Resolution passes. Okay, approve bids for dairy products, snow removal, fuel, and, excuse me, vehicle fuel and fuel oil for 2021. Is there a motion to approve those?
Also, I'll move.
I'll second. Jeff Stangler made the motion and Pam Baker seconded to approve the bids for dairy, snow removal, vehicle fuel, and fuel oil for this school year 2020-21. Any discussion?
Did we get more than one?
No. Other than dairy.
Okay, by roll call, is there any further discussion? Okay, by roll call vote, Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes. Motion carries. Okay, then there is the next item is to approve a general work agreement with Rachel Kluber for a summer school special ed position for occupational therapy. That was attached at an hourly rate of $36.53, up to 12 hours.
So move.
Second.
Gary Michael made the motion and Jeff Stangler seconded to approve the general work agreement with Rachel Kluber. Is there any discussion? Okay, by roll call vote. Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to jump to personnel next. I'm going to lump the letters. Well, are you okay with me lumping the letters of resignation together?
Yes.
So approve the letter of resignation from Katie Gerst, paraprofessional, effective immediately. Lindsay Francis, custodian, effective July 23rd. Sabine Bill, paraprofessional, effective August 6th. And Nancy Fessel, Morristown, administrative assistant, effective August 12th. Is there a motion to approve those resignations?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Jay Schneider made the motion and Gary Michael seconded to approve those 4 resignations. Is there any discussion? Just want to share my appreciation for all those individuals working for the school district. We're losing some really fine individuals here. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
No.
Dan?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
John?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Pam? Yeah, unfortunately, I agree. So we have 6 yes, 1 no. Resignations have been accepted. Okay, approval of new hires. We have 2. We have Shauna Peterson Brown, 2021, 2020, 21 school psychologist at $475 per day, up to 55 days. And we have Jeannie Anderson, school nurse, BA plus 10, step 11, $46,457. Is there a motion to approve those hires?
I'll
moved.
make the motion. Or I'll second it.
Okay, Dan Houlihan made the motion and Jeff Stangler seconded to approve the hiring of Shauna Peterson Brown and Jeannie Anderson. Is there any discussion? Can I just ask Jeannie, is she's all ready for the COVID experience?
Yes, she is.
Any other discussion? Okay, by roll call vote, Jeff,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
John? John?
Yes.
Thanks. And Pam, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes, motion carries. Okay, so then we have lane changes. We have approval of Rebecca Kelly, BS 50, MS to MS 10, effective June 15th. We have Jared Larson, BS to BS 10, effective June 15th. And we have Brenda Bonsack, BS 15 to BS 50, MS, effective June 15th.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, so Jay Schneider made the motion and Dan Houlihan seconded those lane changes for Rebecca Kelly, Jared Larson, and Brenda Bonsack. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Gary?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Pam, yes. Roll call vote, 7 yes. Lane changes were approved. Okay, and then we just have a couple summer school staff. That's Monday through Thursday, July 6th through the end of this week, basically. So they've already been doing their responsibilities. It's Deb Woleen, administrative assistant, $14.12 per hour. Roger Lamont, bus driver, at $47.99 per route. And James Hanks, bus driver, at $47.99 per route.
So move.
I'll second.
Second.
Travis Bowman made the motion. Pam Baker seconded to approve those summer school positions for Deb Woleen, Roger Lamont, and James Hanks. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Gary?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Pam, yes. By roll call vote, 7 yes, motion carries. Before we adjourn, don't jump the gun, Dan and Jay. I think we need to Would it be appropriate to put a meeting date on the calendar for discussion? We did discuss possibly, we normally would have our study session on August 13th. And I'm proposing that we move that study session to August 6th so that we can hear about the distance learning plan. As Joel mentioned earlier tonight, they plan to meet with teachers and groups August 4th. So would like to know or hear more about the status of the distance learning plans. Any thoughts? Is everybody okay with that change?
We had some thoughts, Pam, when Joel and Bobby and I talked earlier today. Part of the situation is that we're going to hear expectedly at some point on Thursday. Typically, the governor has given his announcement around 2 o'clock. And then we're meeting with our team on the 4th, which gives us just a short period of time before the 6th to present to you. That's something that we can do if you want just the very bare bones. But if you want to be presented to with something a little bit more concrete, we felt maybe it would be better to push it off to the next week. And not to say that it has to be the 13th, but maybe that Monday or Tuesday after.
I guess I'd like to hear other board member comments. My concern is that I know other districts already have put plans out there, tentative plans.
Yep, and we've been looking at those as well. They're, like I said, they're fairly bare bones. When we receive them for other districts, I think Joel sent at least 2 even today. A caveat to all of them is more details to follow. And so, like I said, we're certain we can go the 6th if that's what you're looking for.
I'd rather do it the 6th. There's 3 options basically. And the first one of attending school is pretty straightforward. So the one of staying at home is pretty straightforward. So all you got to figure out is the middle one.
Any other board members want to weigh in on the meeting date?
The 6th, I might not be available, so.
Yeah, what day is the 6th fall on?
Monday.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Wrong month.
Well, if not the 6th, you'd have to have at least by the following Monday or Tuesday then.
Yep, I'm open to the 6th. I agree with Gary. I think I feel like we're going to have some sort of distance learning regardless of what the state says, because there's going to be some students that may not be interested in returning to the classroom. So hopefully we're already making those conceptual plans.
Well, I think we have more options than just what the state gives us. I think we should be open to discussing everything. I personally think that we should just open up and figure out how we can keep it safe and have precautions. So I think to hear from the superintendents and the teachers is probably pretty important. So I don't know. I can probably make either or work, but I think we should hear from them.
And that's why we suggested the 6th. But how many can make it on August 6th?
At what time, Pam? 7, you said, or?
August 6th would be probably 6 o'clock.
Later the better for me.
So I didn't get a lot of response on who could make it. I know. Oh, thank you, Jay. Gary was a yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make it. I'd just as soon have it a little bit later, at 6:30 at least.
And how many would prefer to do it on August 10th?
What day is the 10th?
The Monday. Jay, you can't, or Jay is saying he's not available. John would prefer it.
I could do either. Later the better.
I can do either.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do either. Just time wise, as far as 6:30 is better than 6.
7's even better.
I with 7.
So do you want to compromise on Monday, but do it at 7 o'clock? Okay,
Good for me.
Sounds good.
Monday at 7 o'clock, then we could go forward with that. That gives the administrators and principals and teachers more time to collaborate on the plan.
So now Jay's not gonna make it or what?
It was basically Monday, Thursday or Monday, one person wasn't going to be able to attend.
I just have another meeting at 6, so I'll
What?
show up as soon as I can.
Mondays and Thursdays are pretty unpredictable for me. I'm gonna have to wait and see on that.
Okay. Well, it seemed to work a little better to try to clear the calendar now versus sending out several emails to try to figure that out. So I appreciate everybody's patience. Okay, now I'm ready for a motion to adjourn. Jay made the motion and Dan Houlihan seconded to adjourn our meeting. Time now is 7:10. All those in favor?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
John?
Yep.
I just want to hear you guys. Come on. Jeff?
Yes.
Dan? Gary already left.
yeah.
Here, yes.
I heard Travis. Jay? John? Was yes. Pam, yes. By seven yes. Roll call vote. Meeting adjourned. Sorry about that. 7:10. Have a great night.